So everybody, I just got done finished oh my god. I just finished watching the original King Kong vs. Godzilla. Welcome back to our Godzilla vs. Kong marathon leading up to the movie. Today, we're going to reveal the third movie in both of these franchises, both Kong and Godzilla's franchises. And look, what do you know? It's King Kong vs. Godzilla. I just got done watching it. I've watched it actually twice this week. It's the first time I was getting really sick. As of the time I'm recording this video, by the way. This video ain't going to be up till like 3 or 4 weeks after I watched it, so. But, I will say, I really did enjoy the movie. The first viewing, I enjoyed it, but I couldn't really, focus too much during it. I was, just getting sick, and it was really affecting my night and my focus. Rewatched it again after wasn't sick, and, it still had some weird focusing issue, but I was a lot better this time. Plus, I did remember all the plot pretty much. I just watched it again just to remember. And this time, it was definitely a way better viewing experience than last time, just because last time I was getting sick. And ever since I was a kid, I still love this movie. And this is actually the second time, because the first time was a couple nights ago. I watched this full movie, the Japanese version. Much better than the American version. And let's just break it down. This film consists of two different plots basically going on at the same time that end up becoming one, with the plot King Kong's side and the plot on Godzilla's side that end up intertwining, and the characters basically end up crossing over to make the plots become one. And let me just say, out of these two already, I definitely prefer King Kong's plot a lot more, but that does not mean anything against the Godzilla plot. I personally just thought the King Kong plot was more enjoyable. It had the better characters and such. But if you want a quick sum up of both of these plots, basically on one end, the Godzilla plot, after being frozen in the ice, it's never specifically stated, but a U.S. submarine hits a giant iceberg, and there's hints of Godzilla. Eventually, he breaks out, and he has some really cool scenes throughout the movie of him blowing up the military fighting tanks. And basically, his side of the story is just the army trying to figure out how to defeat him. Basically, same old stuff and kind of cliche stuff we come to know for Godzilla films for. It wasn't the most entertaining thing, but it wasn't bad by any means. There were some really nice action scenes. On the other hand, it was the King Kong story, which I did really enjoy. It was fun. The characters were a lot more relatable and fun to watch. Some of the acting was really over the top and goofy, and it was really fun to watch, especially from the guy who owns the TV station. King Kong's side of the plot basically is there's talks of an evil spirit on this island called Faroe Island, and with the ratings low or whatever, basically the channel owner or whatever sends some of his people to Faroe Island to go talk to the spirit. And we get a lot of really cool stuff. We get to see the tribe people, we get to see King Kong's reveals. And overall, it's really fun. The acting was fun, and the story was a lot more fun than King Kong's end, in my opinion. Eventually, it ended up intertwining, with the two having their first confrontation, with Godzilla quickly just destroying Kong with two breaths of his blast, because he has the high ground. And Kong just doesn't know what to do, panic and runs away. And from there, basically, the plots intertwine, and basically the military ends up taking Kong to use him as a weapon against Godzilla. And that's basically the gist of the plot, and it was really enjoyable still. Like I said, I definitely preferred the Kong half. I thought it had the better scenes, the more enjoyable scenes, and better characters, but that's nothing additional to the Godzilla one. If you love Godzilla, and you love basically a lot of the military scenes and stuff, this film is for you. This film was a lot more lighthearted, the first colored film in both these franchises, and it was still really enjoyable. I really loved it. I grew up with it as a kid, and I still really loved it. Like I said earlier in the points, though, the acting, for the most part, all of it was pretty good. A lot of it was fun, over the top. The characters were really cheesy and enjoyable at many parts. The film, like I said, they were basically, I already ran down the plot. It was all really fun and enjoyable to watch in terms of the characters. Like I said, the one guy on station, he was really fun to watch because he's so over the top, but it doesn't really get annoying because he's not really on screen enough for it to get annoying. And they're all really fun, and there's actually quite a bit of humor in this film that actually made me chuckle. I was really pleasantly surprised, with the lightheartedness, and it's such a simple plot, too, and it's all really enjoyable. I really did like it, You don't come in for a film you don't have to overthink. This is a good film for that, with a lot of really fun kaiju action throughout. Like I said earlier, though, with the King Kong side of things and the Godzilla side of things, for the Godzilla side of things, I personally thought the Godzilla design in this film was amazing. It is still one of my favorite Godzilla designs of all time, and I believe it's the first time he really used the classic Showa roar we've come to know. I believe it was from this film all the way up till 75. It's that really iconic, more higher pitched screech, that higher pitched shriek or whatever that we're used to, versus the more lower, deeper pitch one of 54 and I believe 55. This film knew what it was going for here, and Godzilla's design fit it perfectly. He was fun. He was a big, dumb animal. It was really interesting to see Godzilla portrayed this way, but it was all really fun. King Kong, on the other hand, he didn't get the same treatment in terms of design. His design was kind of crappy. Wasn't the worst thing they could have did, but it definitely wasn't the best design. It couldn't really express a good range of emotions, and it really wasn't the best design I've ever seen. However, on the opposite ends like that, though, I thought Kong had the much better action scenes. He was a lot more enjoyable throughout. Just watching him run around through the cities and stuff were really fun. He even had a fight scene with a squid that in some regards, honestly, I would think is almost better than the fight between Rodan and King Ghidorah and King of the Monsters. Not trying to throw any shade or anything, I just personally see some elements of that being better. And, it was really fun. The Tribe People were really fun. Kong had some really cool music to back him up. And Godzilla had some of his best themes in this movie too, but Godzilla stuff, while it was really enjoyable, there was really some fun miniature stuff. I just couldn't find it as enjoyable as the Kong stuff. You could definitely tell this is supposed to be more of King Kong's film, Godzilla film, because they really focused and homed in on making this a really good focused movie on King Kong. But I did bring up the soundtrack, so I'm just going to talk about it now. Soundtrack of the movie by Kira Kube, amazing, phenomenal. Has one of the best Godzilla theme songs I've ever heard. Especially, I would say it's definitely one of the best in the Showa era. And Kong has some amazing music that backs him up every time he's on screen. A lot of stuff with the tribal people. And of course, that main title theme. It's amazing. We get themes like East meets West and stuff. And all of it's so amazing. And, all that comes down to a climax that is really enjoyable. It's about 10 minutes long, and it's a really fun fight overall. There's a midsection in the middle of the fight that kind of transitions it, which was kind of iffy, but it starts out with a bang, with Kong basically sliding down the hill, knocking Godzilla down a hit, and then basically throughout it, they're kind of even, and, Kong is a lot more powerful here, which I'll explain here in a minute, and while he's a little weaker than Godzilla, it's basically even, but he ends up after the first half where it's basically just their base forms almost. Kong ends up knocking himself out, and it real quickly just turns in Godzilla's favor. So Kong gets power up, and basically one-sides Godzilla. Godzilla gets some good hits and still, but he just throws Godzilla around here. And, we get the definitive winner that you cannot question. At the end of this fight, after this amazing iconic scene of them destroying the building, they fall in the water together. Kong's the one that comes out on top and swims away. Kong is definitely the victor in this movie. I watched it, had no question of that, and it was really fun to watch. There was a lot of really good foreshadowing in this movie too. Introduced stuff like the string really early on. That was kind of a funny scene, but I thought it was really random. But it comes back later on, so they can get Kong to Godzilla. Other stuff, like every time Kong kind of comes around on Skull Island, lightning follows him, which we end up finding out lightning makes him stronger as he comes into, the city and eats the lightning, and he becomes stronger. I definitely think that also has something to do with the final fight, him being stronger, since they compare him to a guy from Switzerland who got charged a battery after his fight. Definitely think him eating that lightning there helped him adapt and be able to take the atomic breath. Because earlier in the first fight, the atomic breath really kind of hurt him really bad. We even see him blink like crazy and stuff. His face is shocked the first time he sees it, and it hurts him pretty bad. You see burn marks stuff on him. He runs away from Godzilla. And then the next fight has one of my favorite scenes from a Godzilla movie. I forgot how good that scene was, where Godzilla hits Kong's atomic breath. He has some smoke coming off him. He kind of just touches it and looks at it, and then he just runs Godzilla and tackles him over. It's amazing. Such a fun thing to watch. There were some really cool elements in the movie. Like I said, though, Some of the human stuff kind of dragged on. Some of it was a little bit boring, and this mostly comes from the Godzilla side. I didn't find everything that Godzilla on Godzilla's side of the story was completely enjoyable. A lot of it seemed kind of more like exposition and stuff, but it still doesn't mean it was bad or anything. I just personally thought the Kong side was much more enjoyable. Maybe that's partially because the Kong side, too, interesting enough, was somehow still basically like a retelling of the original King Kong film. If you don't know what I mean, they come to Faroe Island on to basically get something for a show of some sort, whether it be a movie or whatever. They end up bringing him back after knocking him out in some way, and basically, he's in the city, he gets a woman, all that stuff. The only difference here is that this Kong is powerful. This has to be the most powerful Kong I've seen. It's very likely that 2021 will change that up, but man, this Kong is extremely powerful. He's very durable. He survives explosions and stuff. He's massive. He's strong. And basically, whenever he gets that supercharged form, he one-sides Godzilla. He did a hip toss and everything on him. It was amazing to watch. This movie was really fun. It was a really nice movie. It's definitely a step in the right direction. I prefer it way over Raids Again, which was just hard to watch, and it had a bunch of tonal issues and stuff. This film knew what it was the whole time, and it was fun. It had a very great climax and great ending fight that made it all worth it throughout. And I hope I didn't miss any of the points, but this movie was really fun. It's definitely one that, I would definitely show, someday my kids stuff when they want to see a good Godzilla movie, or my friends. This is a fun one. It's not super long, it's fun, it has one of the best final action scenes, and it does really good stuff for both characters. And it's a really fun movie overall for both monsters. So, at the end, what do I rate this film? Well, I'm going to give it, a 4. It's a really fun movie. It's definitely one I would recommend. Like I said, you're not going to be disappointed if you watched it. I bet you'll love it too. It's one of my favorite movies, and in terms of Godzilla, and it's just fun. It's really fun. I think you guys really would enjoy it. Up next in the marathon will be Mothra vs. Godzilla. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, as always, please share, subscribe. As always, peace. Have a great day.